Madam President, Hunt is gone. If he isn't dead, the Russians have him. If we lose control of our arsenal, we lose any hope of preventing the entity from launching. We are out of time.
2 months after the last mission, Secret Agent Ethan receives a classified message from U.S. President Erica regarding the entity. It is a self-aware rogue AI that can penetrate cybersecurity and predict probable futures. The entity is corrupting digital information around the world to turn humanity against itself. It has even inspired a doomsday cult that favors human extinction, and their fanatics are infiltrating the most important institutions. To stop the entity, they must find its source code. The only person who knows its location is Gabriel, but no one knows how to find him. Ethan has a key that could destroy the entity, but using it would wipe out all cyberspace and could send the world into another war. Gabriel is hiding because he fears the government may use the entity against other countries. Erica asks Ethan to surrender before the tape self-destructs. Later, Ethan reunites with his old friend Benji, and together they go to a secret room in a subway tunnel where Luther is waiting. Luther has developed a specialized poison capsule virus that can neutralize the entity when combined with its source code. First, they must find Gabriel. In an Austrian prison, Gabriel's former accomplice, Paris, is being escorted by agents Jasper and Theo. Suddenly, 2 guards take out tasers and attack the agents. A fight breaks out, and Paris joins in, helping the guards bring down the agents one by one. After many punches and kicks, Jasper's knocked out, but Theo draws his gun. Paris steals a gun and tries to shoot, but the guards jump in front of her and take off their masks to reveal they are Ethan and Benji. Paris remembers that Ethan spared her during the last mission. Theo listens as Ethan explains that there are no sides anymore, and they must work together on a global threat. Theo agrees not to arrest them, and Ethan asks Paris where Gabriel is. A few evenings later, Ethan sneaks into an important party in London. 2 agents spot him and move to arrest him. Grace bumps into them, steals their radios and guns, throws a weapon to Ethan, and keeps the other. The agents cannot defend themselves, and the duo easily knocks them out. Grace explains she was sent to find Ethan by the director of his agency, but says she now believes Ethan is the only one who can save the world. As they try to leave, 2 men surprise them and quickly sedate them. They wake up chained in a room with a table full of torture tools. A guard comes in and punches Ethan, but Gabriel orders him to stop and says he will kill Luther if Ethan does not obey. Gabriel demands that Ethan find a submarine called Sevastopol, which is undetectable by sonar. Years ago, its system was sabotaged by a virus that caused it to sink. That virus later became the entity. Because the submarine has been frozen on the sea bottom for years, the entity cannot hack into it now. The copy of the virus left in its system can be retrieved and used as the source code. The most shocking truth is revealed. The virus that started everything was a code Ethan once stole for the government to save his wife many years ago. This means Ethan is responsible for the entity's existence. As Gabriel studies him more closely, he notices something strange in Ethan's mouth. Ethan has fake teeth hiding poison inside. He bites down, begins foaming at the mouth, and Gabriel orders his men to revive him. But Ethan reveals the poison was fake. He quickly turns the tables, beating both guards while Grace grabs the keys to free herself. Another guard arrives, but Gabriel stops him from shooting, reminding him that Ethan must stay alive. One of the men regains consciousness and attacks again, forcing Ethan and Grace to fight side by side. Grace is nearly killed, but Ethan grabs tools from the table and finishes both men in a brutal struggle. Meanwhile, Gabriel runs through the quarters, trying to escape. He is cornered by Paris, Theo, and Benji. Paris raises her weapon, ready to shoot, but Theo reminds her they need Gabriel alive. Gabriel takes advantage of the hesitation and bolts in the opposite direction, locking doors behind him to keep the others away. Ethan and Grace continue the chase, but lose him. In another room, Ethan finds a strange box. Paris explains that this is how Gabriel has been communicating with the entity. Ignoring her warnings, Ethan steps inside and connects his mind to the device. Restraints clamp down on his hands and feet before the entity begins to speak directly to him. Inside the device, the entity bombards Ethan with violent visions that send shocks of pain through his mind. Among the flashes, he sees a mysterious vault, and the entity tempts him to open it, promising power if he lets it in. If he refuses, the entity threatens to seize control of the world's nuclear arsenal within 4 days, wiping out humanity. It also shows Ethan a chilling image, Gabriel murdering Luther. Then, just as suddenly as it began, the entity throws Ethan out of the box. Staggering to his feet, Ethan scribbles down everything he saw during the visions and urgently tells his team to track the coordinates to the submarine. But his focus shifts. Luther's life is in danger. Elsewhere, Luther wakes up disoriented, finding a dead nurse beside him. Gabriel has locked him inside a chamber rigged with a bomb. He also stole the poison capsule and killed the woman meant to keep Luther unconscious. By the time Ethan arrives, there are only 3 minutes left. The bomb's force could annihilate the entire city. Luther is trying to contain the explosion by disarming it, but the process will kill him and collapse the tunnels. Ethan frantically tries to open the door, but it's sealed tight. Then he realizes the grim truth. Gabriel orchestrated this to eliminate Luther, ensuring he could never build another poison capsule. Ethan refuses to abandon his friend, but Luther insists, reminding him that the mission is bigger than either of them. With no choice, Ethan runs through the tunnels as the bomb detonates behind him. The explosion kills Luther and tears the tunnels apart. When Ethan emerges onto the street, he is immediately surrounded by Jasper and his men, who confiscate the key. Taken back to headquarters, Ethan is brought before Director Kittredge. The news is dire. The entity has already infiltrated nuclear arsenals worldwide. In a high-level meeting with President Erica and the board, Ethan explains his plan. He needs the key and a ship to recover the submarine. But the room erupts in debate. Many still hope to control the entity instead of destroying it. Ethan argues that with nuclear weapons already compromised, there is no longer a choice. Suddenly, an alarm blares. Another nation has just lost control of its nuclear arsenal. The threat is now immediate. Erica makes the call, giving Ethan 72 hours to stop the entity, or he alone will be held responsible for the consequences. Before he departs, he is handed a sealed envelope containing the key. Soon after, a military plane drops Ethan onto a carrier ship in the Northern Pacific. He hands the envelope to the admiral, who opens it to find only a date written inside. She recognizes it instantly. It was the day she and Erica both lost someone close because higher authorities refused to take a risk. The admiral understands the meaning. This is her chance to take the risk others once avoided. Ethan explains his plan. They'll use SOSUS, the global sound surveillance system made of undersea acoustic cables, to locate the submarine. Any significant underwater activity anywhere in the world leaves a trace. Since the bodies of the submarine crew were found by Inuit fishermen, they deduced that the accident was detected by the SOSUS station on Street Matthew Island in the Bering Sea. But reaching it means risking conflict with Russia. On top of that, Ethan will need his team to extract him from the ice at the exact time and place. The admiral hesitates at the gamble, but with no other plan on the table, she agrees. At Matthew Island, Benji and the team meet William, the man who has run the SOSUS station for 30 years. A legendary coder, William had been warning the world about the entity for decades, but no one ever believed him. Now, determined to help, he reveals that Russian mercenaries have already invaded his home. They're also hunting for the lost submarine. William insists he doesn't have the coordinates they want. He still has the disks containing the information, but the machines needed to read them were taken away long ago to cover up the submarine's sinking. The mercenaries don't care. They demand that he build a reader and give him 1 hour to comply. Meanwhile, aboard a helicopter, Ethan is told by the pilots that Russian ships are already in the area and the team hasn't sent the coordinates yet. They warn they'll soon run out of fuel if they keep circling. Ethan begs for just 5 more minutes. Suddenly, 2 Russian jets fly past in warning, forcing the helicopters to turn back. Refusing to abandon the mission, Ethan jumps into the freezing ocean below. In the water, he's surrounded by divers who pull him to safety aboard the USS Ohio. There, Ethan meets the submarine's captain and shows him the admiral's necklace as proof of trust. He explains they're waiting for coordinates from his team and asks the captain to raise the antenna even though it risks exposing them to Russian detection. As they watch the radar, Ethan spots that a Russian submarine reached the island an hour ago. The crew also reveals a special pressure suit capable of descending to extreme depths, but it's never been tested below 300 feet. To conserve oxygen, Ethan will need to descend rapidly, which could cause dangerous side effects. Once he reaches the decompression chamber, he'll have only 20 minutes before his body shuts down. Determined, Ethan begins conditioning his breathing as the captain warns they'll raise the antenna one last time before shutting it down. Back at William's house, Benji helps him build the reader while keeping the mercenaries distracted. Quietly, William admits to Benji that he destroyed the disk holding the coordinates, but he memorized them. He writes the numbers down, hides the paper inside his watch, and discreetly passes it to his wife under the pretense of feeding the dogs. Grace overhears the exchange and volunteers to help. As William's wife heads to the kennel, a mercenary follows. She surprises him with a blow from a shovel, and Grace leaps into the fight. A gunshot goes off in the struggle, and the rest of the team hears it. Taking it as a signal, they launch into battle against the other mercenaries. And in the scuffle, burning coal spills from the stove, setting the house on fire. The fighting continues amid the growing blaze, as William rushes to the radio to transmit the coordinates. At the same time, aboard the USS Ohio, Ethan is suddenly attacked by one of the crew, a secret member of the entity cult who doesn't want the mission to succeed. They fight brutally, crashing into consoles and damaging equipment. While the captain finally picks up William's coordinates through the radio, Ethan slams the cultist's face against a rolling machine, but the man refuses to go down, only to be struck from behind by another crew member who knocks him unconscious just in time. Back at the burning house, Theo and Paris handle most of the fighting, while Benji gets pinned under a falling bookshelf along with the mercenary leader. Paris is captured, but she tricks her opponent into firing, causing bullets to strike his own teammate. Seizing the moment, Theo opens fire and takes him down. When the Russians realize William has successfully sent the coordinates, they abandon the fight and retreat, hoping their submarine can intercept the transmission instead. The team escapes the collapsing house. William's wife guides Grace outside and teaches her how to command a sled dog team, entrusting her to transport the pressure chamber equipment across the snow so Ethan can survive his dive. Deep underwater aboard the USS Ohio, the captain confirms the coordinates point to a location near Africa. Ethan quickly realizes something is wrong. Studying the data, he checks the exact opposite point on the globe, and it marks a spot much closer to their current location. William had cleverly reversed the numbers to mislead the Russians. The submarine sets course, but enemy sonar shows the Russians are already following. As they arrive at the coordinates, Ethan suits up in the untested pressure suit. With only 20 minutes to pull off the impossible, the crew floods the chamber to equalize pressure. Dizzy but determined, Ethan opens the hatch and dives into the black abyss. Almost instantly, a Russian submarine looms out of the darkness, threatening to crush him. Ethan hugs its side, holding perfectly still until it passes, then fires off flares to search the seabed. Finally, he spots it, the sunken Sevastopol, the ghostly wreck that started it all. He forces his way inside, the water rushing in and causing the vessel to shift dangerously. Powerless corpses float eerily in the darkness. Ethan attaches a device to the generator to restore a flicker of light and moves deeper inside, but the next room is filled with torpedoes, each one an unstable bomb waiting to go off. He treads carefully as the submarine tilts and groans under the crushing weight of the ocean. At last, he reaches the system chamber. Using the special key, Ethan pries open the hatch and retrieves the hard drive, the entity's source code. But as he turns back, the submarine lurches violently. The wreck is sliding deeper into the abyss. Water pours in, rolling torpedoes across the floor, each one threatening to crush or detonate. One blocks his path to the exit, leaving only a single escape route, the torpedo tubes. Ethan squeezes inside, but the confined space is unforgiving. His bulky suit catches on the metal. With no time to waste, he rips it off, exposing his skin to the freezing depths. But he fights through, opening the final hatch and bursting out into open water just as the submarine collapses into the deep. As he ascends, his helmet catches on the wreck's twisted steel. Ethan struggles, then makes the brutal choice. He lets it go, sacrificing the last piece of protection between himself and the crushing cold of the ocean, forcing Ethan to keep swimming in only his shorts with the hard drive hanging around his neck. No matter how hard he pushes, he cannot reach the surface. His body weakens from the lack of air and the freezing temperature, curling in pain as he begins to fade. At that moment, Grace finds him and pulls him out of the water. She performs CPR and places him inside the pressure chamber until he revives. Later on the plane, Ethan tells William he remembers him from an old mission. Ethan feels guilty for William's reassignment to the Arctic, but William explains he is grateful because that post allowed him to meet his wife. The team shifts focus to the entity's plan, concluding that it must have a secure base before launching its nuclear attack. William believes the safest location is the Doomsday Vault, a top-secret, fully shielded solar-powered data server. Ethan recognizes this as the place shown in his visions and suspects Gabriel is already there. The team realizes they need Luther's poison capsule to combine it with the source code. That combination will force the entity into a 5D optical data drive, trapping it. But timing will be critical. Removing the drive too soon or too late could either free the entity or trigger the nuclear strike. Their strategy is to let Gabriel access the vault, then stop him at the final second. In Africa, the team navigates tunnels until they reach the chamber containing the vault. Ethan orders the others to stay hidden and moves forward alone, discovering a nuclear bomb. Gabriel appears and taunts him, prompting Ethan to pretend to lose control as he hands over the hard drive. Suddenly, Jasper ambushes Gabriel at gunpoint. Dozens of agents emerge, revealing that Ethan's team has been captured. Gabriel's assistant triggers the bomb, arming it with only 20 minutes left. Kittredge arrives as well, demanding to know how the hard drive controls the entity. Ethan notices movement in the shadows, just as Gabriel shouts an order and chaos erupts. Gunfire fills the chamber as everyone scrambles for cover. Gabriel escapes in a jeep with the poison capsule. Ethan gives chase in another jeep, while Kittredge and Jasper follow. The pursuit rages through the tunnels until Ethan crashes, but he quickly recovers and continues on foot. He spots Gabriel boarding a biplane and prepares to give up, until he notices the assistant leaving on another plane. Ethan grabs a metal bar to latch onto it, climbs into the cockpit, and knocks the pilot unconscious. The plane spins and rolls until the pilot's body slips out after Ethan unfastens his seatbelt. Ethan seizes control and speeds after Gabriel, their planes colliding several times mid-air. Back in the cave, Benji reveals he has been shot. William steps forward to disarm the bomb, with his wife and Theo at his side. Paris and Grace rush Benji into the server room. While William works, he finds a way to cut certain cables to reduce the blast and create a narrow escape window. Meanwhile, Benji feels his lungs collapsing. Through immense pain, he instructs Paris to perform an improvised operation, guiding her step by step while also directing Grace on activating the server. Against all odds, the procedure works. Benji recovers, the server line opens for the entity, and Grace connects the data drive. Now, they only need Ethan to retrieve the poison capsule. In the skies, Ethan's plane begins to break apart. He leaps onto Gabriel's aircraft just as his own crashes behind him. Gabriel pushes the plane through wild stunts, trying to throw Ethan off, but Ethan clings on and even hides under the wing, tricking Gabriel into believing he fell. When the plane levels, Ethan climbs back and strikes him. The fight escalates, with Gabriel trying to stab Ethan. Seizing the moment, Ethan breaks his arm, rips away the poison capsule, and delivers another blow. He unfastens Gabriel's seatbelt, and when the plane tilts, Gabriel is thrown out. The violent wind slams him against the metal, killing him instantly. Afterward, Ethan struggles to regain control of the plane, but the propeller catches fire. He jumps out with a parachute, only for it to burn away as well. Falling rapidly, Ethan manages to insert the poison capsule into the hard drive at the exact moment Grace removes the 5D data drive and William cuts the bomb's cables. Power shuts down across the world, halting all nuclear weapons. Grace watches the data drive glow and realizes their plan has worked. William and the others regroup, confirming they escaped the blast, and the damage is minimal. Soon after, power is restored, and Erica receives a call confirming the entity is gone. High in the mountains, Ethan lands safely with the help of a backup parachute. From the hard drive, he hears Luther's voice delivering a final goodbye. The message is designed to self-destruct, and by the time Kittredge and Jasper reach Ethan, both the hard drive and the poison capsule are destroyed beyond use. Kittredge is frustrated, but Jasper congratulates Ethan on the victory. Later, the team reunites with Ethan. Grace hands him the day to safeguard the entity, and soon after, the group parts ways to continue their lives in the shadows. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this.